And it's Sunday the 27th of April and it's the 8th round of Super League 2. And this is Jim Kidd welcoming you to Wilderspool Stadium on a beautiful afternoon for Warrington Wolves against Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain have just taken the field. They are, of course, really a team of Australians. There's only a couple of Frenchmen in the team from what we can see. And we're waiting for the Warrington Wolves side, who, after having been on a roll for 3 games on the run, 3 victories on the run, against Wigan, against Oldham, and the third one, I think it was Castleford away, of course, lost last week very heavily indeed at Knowsley Road by 60 points to 12. And of course that's made a difference to the Warrington side that's going to turn out. The Warrington skipper Paul Hume is leading his side out at the moment, and he's also leading out the Warrington Wolfpack mascot, who today is 11-year-old Peter Stockton. He goes to Penketh High School and he hates tidying up his bedroom. Surprise, surprise. I know exactly how he feels. But he loves chicken and chips. His hobbies include rugby league and chess. His best friends are Simon Gordon and Darren Ince. His favourite players are Richard Inari and Paul Sculthorpe. We hope that Peter enjoys his day. It's certainly a beautiful afternoon for him. We hope Warrington put on a performance that he's going to remember for the rest of his life. I'm sure your family are very proud of you, Peter. Enjoy your day. Have a good time. And the Warrington side, as we said, that was defeated heavily against St Helens last week at Knowsley Road, shows quite a number of changes, and Daryl van der Velde, the Warrington coach, has certainly rung the changes. There's no place on the side for Tony Tutupu, John Roper and Warren Stevens. All 3 of them, in fact, are relegated to the bench. Leo Breers, of course, is signing from St Helens. He's still there, his second game at scrum half, and it's Chris Rudd at full-back. Richard Inari, Toa Coelho, Nigel Lagana and Mark Foster in the 3-quarter line. Kelly Shelford and Lee Breers at half-back. Lacey Finau, John Huff and Gary Chambers in the front row. The back 3, Paul Hume, George Mann and Paul Sculthorpe. And Tutupu, Roper, Derbyshire and Stevens on the bench. Break in play will give you the Paris Saint-Germain side from the Charletti Stadium, of course. Over in Paris, Warrington defeated them 48 points to 24 here at Wilderspool last year, and at the Charletti Stadium a late try for Warrington ensured a 26 points to 24 victory. That's the first penalty, and it's against the Warrington Wolves, so it's going to be Paris Saint-Germain put this ball into touch. It's a good kick as well. That makes it about a good 45-50 yards. Mr Connolly telling Warrington to stay on side of Paris Saint-Germain in possession. That's O'Donnell, dummy half. Hands on immediately to Lomax. Beautiful day here at Wilderspool. Ideal day for rugby league. Virtually no wind at all. And we're expecting quite a few points. And if you're a Warrington supporter, of course, you'll be hoping that the Wolves are going to score more than Paris Saint-Germain. But surely Daryl van der Velde will have stiffened up Warrington's tackling. I'm sure that's been the feature of the training this week. And Palace, of course, have lost 6 out of 7, so they're right down at the bottom of the league, just above Castleford. A kick ahead, not a good one. Taken well by Rudd, but just outside the try line. So he's going to have to come out, and he does do so. Takes it well. And it's Mark Foster. Sporting some very natty yellow boots this afternoon. He's had a good few games as Mark Foster. Scored a couple of tries against Castleford, and as we have said a number of occasions, in the twilight of his career, but he really is enjoying his rugby league. And Warrington, of course, welcome back John Huff today. Comes from the part of the world I live in, Mosley, near Oldham, and hasn't had a game in the first team for some time, but it's good to see him back. Always makes some good breaks from the acting half-back position. And that was Kelly Shelford. Warrington back in possession. Onto the loose forward Paul Sculthorpe, taken very well indeed by Dion Bird. Fairly straightforward kick, and that's Gary Chambers has hurt himself in that tackle. As you heard, a forearm, finger hand. I'm not quite certain. He's going to get some attention very quickly. Good tackle it was, in fact. That's Priddle coming forward just inside the Warrington half of the field. Nothing much happening at Wilderspool at the moment, but there's a break on here, eventually taken out by Sculthorpe. Chambers has gone off, and Warren Stevens is going to come on, I think, for Warrington. So it's an early introduction for the man wearing number 23 on his back. That's the last tackle. And Paris Saint-Germain have made a good 50 yards forward. Surely a kick here. No, in fact, rolling it on. That ball goes loose. That will be a knock-on. That will surely be the changeover, the turnover, call it what you will in rugby league. and Warrington for the play the ball. Well, surely the feature of the training this week has been stiffing up the Warrington tackling, because it really was abominable at St Helens. St Helens were allowed to run with the ball far too often. Warrington spinning the ball away. That was Toa Love, and he's hurt in the tackle as well. Warren Stevens will be looking for some good slip passes from the 18-year-old prop forward today. Salesi Finau, good to see him on the team sheet right from the kick-off. Normally plays as sub. Breers shows the ball around. Can't get away. Johnny Huff at dummy half. Sculthorpe again, straight into touch. And in fact, good kick. Just about to say that went straight into touch without a bounce, but it didn't. Good kick there, in fact, from Sculthorpe. And it's an offside decision anyway. So Paul gets the chance to put it into the 7th row of the stand, and does do so. And Warrington really would be expected to win this game this afternoon. But not if they play like that. Warren Stevens loses the ball. And that's a penalty this time for Paris Saint-Germain. So not much happening at Wilderspool at the moment. Both sides cancelling each other out. It's a good kick. A very good kick, in fact. Rugby union style, really. I always think that's probably the one thing that rugby union players can teach rugby league players, is how to kick from the hands. And possibly how to organise scrummages properly, but not much else, I don't think. One inside to Priddle. Just pulled down short of the 20. And Paris Saint-Germain having more of the ball than Warrington at the moment. Martin again. Feeds onto Lomax. Offside again. Mr. Connolly in immediately. Let's hope he's going to be consistent. I'm sure he will be. He's one of the top officials, of course, in the Super League. And that's going to be a kick. Jeremy Robinson is going to attempt this. Fairly straightforward attempt. At 10 yards to the right of the posts. It's a very quiet Wilderspool at the moment. Not too many people here. I would think 4,000, 4,500 maximum, I would imagine. But it's a beautiful day. Lovely day for rugby league. Pitch looks in really good condition. But a spring day, early summer one might add, and not too much wind. Any wind there is, I think, is probably in the favour of Paris Saint-Germain. And it's Robinson. Fairly straightforward kick for Robinson. But we've seen a miss from here before now. He's missed this one as well. Just to the right of the post. I thought it was going to scrape over, but it didn't swing in. Oh, it's 0-0. Drop kick from the 22. And it's going to be Lee Breers, recent signing, £65,000 from St Helens. Only 18 years of age. And quite a good game at Nosey Road before he came off with some kind of an ankle injury. That ball's gone loose. Taken out by Vagana. That's a penalty because it was a two-man tackle. Good decision by the referee, and lack of discipline from Nigel Vagana. Warrington's side does appear to make some very, very elementary errors. Evans, first man in. Eventually put down. No real momentum in that tackle. O'Donnell back in the arms of Priddle, I think. Not quite certain who that was. Yes, it was Priddle. A lot of slip passing going on here. There's quite a few gaps. Good tackle by Vagana. Ball goes loose. Nothing wrong with that. That's taken by Warren Stevens. And it's on to Salesi Finau, but no movement there. Surely, in fact, there's a player hurt, a referee going in immediately, a head injury, and of course the referee should get involved immediately with something like that. The referee did well there. No real movement off the Warrington ball carriers as yet. And a Paris Saint-Germain player out cold, it would appear, on the ground. They're looking for a stretcher, one would think. But he really is in a bad way. It's a clash of heads, I think. Nothing intentional. Not sure who it is, we can't see the number. But Paris Saint-Germain are warming up a substitute at the moment. Oh, he seems to be coming round somewhat now. But we don't want to see anything like this. It doesn't matter who you support. We don't like to see serious injuries, particularly head injuries, in our game. That's certainly, there was nothing wrong in that tackle. It was a pure accident, I think. And the Paris Saint-Germain doctor with him, he gains his, he in fact gets to his feet now. Looks a lot better. Thank goodness for that. I thought he was out cold, but the substitute's not coming on. It was Fabien de Veschi, in fact, who was waiting to get on, but in fact the player hurt then was Alejnik. Paris coming in very quickly there. Hint of offside. Warren Stevens, first man in. Johnny Huff, is he going to use the blind side? And he is. On to Breers. Warrington can't get away at all. About 10 minutes gone here at Wilderspool. On to Warren Stevens. Bit of a high tackle. Referee in there immediately. Warren Stevens none the worse for that. Paul Sculthorpe for the first phase of the penalty. I wondered why there was some rather strange noises around the ground. Lots of balloons around which are being popped by various officials and supporters as well. So Lacey Finau, no momentum at all there. Warrington not really lining up the right way, I don't think. George Mann. And as we said, Johnny Huff likes to make these breaks from acting half-back. The referee gives a penalty immediately. I would imagine that Warrington will go for goal. And who's it going to be? Is it going to be Chris Rudd? Or is it going to be Lee Breers? Probably Lee Breers, I would imagine, and it is. But a very quiet opening to this game here at Wilderspool. Nothing happening at all as yet. Warrington have got a chance to open the score, open their account. Lee Breers right in front of the posts, 12 yards out, straightforward kick. But no real atmosphere at Wilderspool at the moment. Lee Breers lines it up with the posts on the mound of sand. Ball inclined slightly forward, as is the vogue these days. When we used to play rugby league, of course, you didn't use sand at all, and for long kicks you used the bullet. And for kicks in front of the post you would put the ball inclined slightly backwards in a divot in the ground. But now the sand, it's inclined slightly forward. Lee Breers straight between the posts. Warrington 2 points. Warrington Wolves 2 points, Paris Saint-Germain 0. So Warrington with the restarts. Paul Sculthorpe. Taken well by Alejnik. None the worse for that injury a few minutes ago. Warrington tackling better there, ball goes loose, knock on. A knock on there. I was thinking days gone by that wouldn't have been given as a knock on because it appeared to me to go backwards. But of course when any player loses the ball these days, the referee normally tends to give a knock on. On to Rudd. Jonathan Roper's on. Not sure who's gone off. George Mann. Just on the 20, held in an upright tackle. Johnny Huff at dummy half, onto Breers, juggles with that ball, Shelford. Shelford this time eventually in the hands of Vagana, who really is a try-scorer extraordinaire for Warrington. He scored 8 in 4 games now. Long pass, taken beautifully, in fact by Richard Inari. Does well. Warrington get to within 10 yards. That's the closest they've been. They've got to spin it along now, but they've got to take men on down the centre, I think, as well. Warrington over the past, well, certainly St Helens tended to sling the ball out wide, but nobody beat anybody. Difficult, little kick by Breers. Taken well by Paris Saint-Germain. That's what's needed from mass defence, of course. A little grubber kick, one over the top, causes problems. Didn't do that time, but a good idea from Breers. Poor tackling from Warrington then. And interference at the play of the ball. I'm just trying to think who's gone off. I think it's Toa Koiluva's gone off. for Warrington, and Jonathan Roper's on. Of course, Gary Chambers with an injury, some kind of a hand injury, we think. He left the field after about 5 minutes and was replaced by Warren Stevens. A number of injuries for Warrington this year. One wonders how Lee Penny is. Very bad injury, of course. Duffy as well. A very talented 16-year-old scrum half broke his ankle against Oldham, in fact. Priddle. Half a break from Priddle, but he can't get away there. Warrington tackling still not good enough, I think, for a top-class Super League side. And Paris Saint-Germain throwing this ball around. Good tackle this time from Minari. Came in off the wing, snuffed out any danger. Paris Saint-Germain, Joe Taylor that was, moving forward. That's the last tackle. Penalty again. Interference at the play the ball from George Mann. And presumably Paris Saint-Germain will attempt a potted goal here. And Warrington's discipline really has been found wanting over recent weeks. They've had 3 good victories, however. Knowsley Road appears to be a bit of a bogey ground for them, and let's hope Wilderspool isn't the bogey ground for them today against Paris Saint-Germain. And 4 Paris Saint-Germain substitutes. That's Haig, Hancock, Menkins and Fabian De Vecchi warming up on the touchline. They'll be used, I'm sure, shortly. So, it's a kick, I think, from Robinson, the standoff. That's 30 yards out. A line for the angle. Floats it in. He's missed that one as well. So really, Paris Saint-Germain should have been ahead by 4 points to 2. 2 fairly straightforward goal kicks have been missed by Jeremy Robinson. Warrington remain in the lead after about 15 minutes gone at 2 points to 0. And it's going to be a tap from the 22. No ball. Waiting for a football now. We have one. No real atmosphere at all at Wilderspool at the moment. This game has not really sparked into life as yet. May well do with an end-to-end try from Paris Saint-Germain, but Warrington supporters don't want to see that happen. Donnelly. That was David Lomax, the loose forward. Half a break, centre field. Warrington missing too many tackles. Priddle again. Spin it this time into the open side. Good break. Good break coming in from the full-back. It's going to be a try for Paris Saint-Germain. Right under the posts. Couldn't quite see who scored that one. We'll be able to tell when we look at the number of his shirt when he comes back. Paris Saint-Germain switched the line of attack very successfully then. Warrington found wanting centre field, and Paris Saint-Germain are 4 points to 2 in the lead. Surely it'll be 6. And I'm just trying to see who scored that try. I'm not quite certain. It may well have been Paul Evans. And Robinson adds the 2 points. So the try scored after just 18 minutes. And Paris Saint-Germain are 6 points to 2 in the lead. Would be rather a shock, of course, if they won here at Wilderspool. But it's on the cards at the moment. Only 1 try scored after 18 minutes, and it's in the... As Paris Saint-Germain have done it. Interesting decision by Lee Braze all of a sudden not to take that ball. He played a bit of soccer with it. But Warrington really 6s and 7s here. They're not moving in with any purpose at all as yet. Probably still suffering from the Saints game. There's Paul Hume. And the Paris Saint-Germain tackling is good. These Aussies are tackling well. Warrington lose it again. Is it going to be one of those games for Warrington? Paul Sculthorpe loses that. Priddle again, trying to get away. Is there going to be another try? Just pulled down short. And they're making ground at will now. Spinning this ball around, and Warrington are missing tackles, not that time. They've got to move in more quickly at the play the ball of Warrington. They've not got to let Paris run, but they've got an overlap here. And it's going to be the second try for Paris Saint-Germain, scored by Pierre Chamarin. Warrington 2 points, Paris Saint-Germain 10. Tony Tatupu coming on for Warrington. Who's going to come off? Well, Tatupu's certainly warming up. I'm not sure who's going to come off. No, Paris Saint-Germain for the restart. Good kick as well. Taken well by Breers. On to Stevens. Good tackling on Stevens there. He can't get away. But Warrington penned inside their own 20, as they have been for most of this first half. Can't really get away at all. Nothing happening around the play of the ball as yet. Sculthorpe taken just outside the 20. Warren Stevens comes off, and Tatupu's on. Gets the ball on this time to Solacey Finau. One really thinks with the size of Finau he should make more ground than he actually does. And here's Tatupu. Sculthorpe, kick ahead again. That rolls into touch just on the 20. That'll be a scrum down. Paris Saint-Germain head and ball. No, Warrington want the ball in the hands. They're not doing too much with it at the moment. And I can see, in fact, that I think that's Toa Koilov has got some kind of a shoulder injury or chest injury. He's certainly been strapped heavily on the arm and the chest. He's talking to a Warrington physio. Whether that is a precaution or it's happened during this game, I'm not certain. Better tackling from the Wolves. So Warrington 8 points down. Is this going to spark them into life? And Paris Saint-Germain now are finding it difficult to make any ground at all. Probably mean there'll be a break. But there isn't. That's the last tackle. So they've only made 20 yards in 5. A kick ahead by Robinson. Taken well by Chris Rudd. And taken well in turn by 2 Paris Saint-Germain players. Mark Foster gets involved. Mark Foster wants to get on over the try line, I'm sure, with his very natty yellow boots. But Warrington really centre field, bunching, nothing happening at all. Nobody helping out Sculthorpe there. They mistiming the runs. That was a forward pass. But the referee didn't think so. Breers on to Shelford. Half a break from Shelford. It's for Ghana. What's the referee given this time? A penalty. Breers takes it quickly. Bit more urgency about the Wolves play now. And the crowd at the old scoreboard end of the ground. They're trying to spark Warrington into life. George Mann. First man in. Drive up to the try line. Solacey Finau makes another 2 or 3 yards forward. Warrington really should spin this ball around, I think. Long pass from Breers on to Shelford. This time it's on to Rudd. Roper hands back onto Rudd. Rudd can't get over the try line, and really I think Johnny Roper should have handed on there. May well have been a try, but there is one here. As he lost the ball over the line, the referee's going to have a word with the in-goal judge. Has the try been awarded, or has he lost it over the line? No try. No try. That'll be a tap on the 22 for Paris Saint-Germain. So everything going wrong for Warrington this afternoon. After about 24 minutes play, there's still 10 points to 2 down, and they've had a try disallowed. That was a good handling movement, actually. Paris Saint-Germain in possession again. And the forwards are making good drives into the Warrington defence. Johnny Huff, that ball goes missing, that goes backwards. Referee says play on. Poor tackling again from Warrington. Better this time from Shelford. That's 6 again. So nothing going right for Warrington at all. High tackle. What will Paris Saint-Germain do this time? That was on Martin, I think. Are they going to take a kick at goal or put it into touch? They're looking good with the ball in their hands. May well go for touch here. Does do so. And various Paris Saint-Germain players coming on and off. Not quite certain who they are. Looks like Michael Haig, in fact, come on. Is it Michael Haig? I'm not certain. Yeah, 17 on his back. So Paris Saint-Germain just short of the Warrington line. And Warrington have got to move in quickly. Change the line of attack again, do it well. But Warrington managed to push them back. Another try really would put the cat amongst the pigeons here at Wilderspool. Martin gets it away again. Onto Foster. George Mann was amazed. I think he got the ball in his hands. Kelly Shelford, long passing onto Sculthorpe. The ball's got to go. And Sculthorpe does not release Richard Inari. One wonders why not. But there's an offside decision anyway, and this game is littered with penalties at the moment. No flow at all about the game as yet. And why Sculthorpe didn't release Inari then, I don't know. Not a good kick really from Breeze. It's a safe one. It only makes about 5 yards forward. It's on to George Mann. In for the first drive. Johnny Huff onto Salesi Finau. Good tackle on Finau. Paris Saint-Germain acquitting themselves well on defence. Warrington spinning the ball along now. That's better. Bagana, Shelford. Shelford still going. It's on a Chris Rudd. That's a good break. This is Tony Tatupu. Rudd did well. He changed the line of attack as Paris have been doing. Penalty again. Warrington should put this ball into touch, I think, or are they going to kick for goal? They've got momentum. Really put it into touch. And there's going to be a blood bin incident here, I think. Yes, there is. It's Salesi Finau's coming off. Warren Stevens on again. Well, Warrington's momentum may take them over the line now, and here's Warren Stevens. That was a spear tackle, I think. The referee says no. The crowd certainly think it was. Johnny Huff. Warrington need a try here. George Mann can't get out the clutches of two Paris Saint-Germain forwards. On to Breers. Breers to Shelford. Shelford to Roper. Roper trying to spin out the tackle. He can't do so. He's pulled down 5 yards short. Inari. And he'll score this time. That's exactly what he did 5 minutes ago, and I don't think there's any danger about that try. Good try from Inari. Warrington 6 points, Paris Saint-Germain 10. Inari's threatened to do that before, of course. The first time he did it was disallowed, and I think it was a good decision by the referee, but there was no danger that time. Just 10 minutes to go. Warrington scored just on the half hour, and Warrington are back in the game. It's going to have to be a good second half fight, a good second half performance from Warrington really to take the points, because Paris Saint-Germain are looking good on defence and looking good with the ball in the hands. But Warrington have not really moved up a gear as yet. One feels if they do, there might be a few more points. Sculthorpe. Right up in the air. A good chase from Warrington Wolves that time. That was George Mann. And they're moving in much more quickly now, but still missing tackles. And that was John Huff, along with Paul Hume. Got a big side, this Paris Saint-Germain outfit. Big, tall, rangy forwards. That's the fourth. Full tackle in this play. That's Lomax, the loose forward. That's fifth and last. We can hear Mr. Connolly shout. There's going to be a kick here. Aimless, really. But it sidesteps Chris Rudd. Takes it in the end. And put down well by Jason Martin. Richard Inari onto Mark Foster. Easy to make out, Mark Foster, because of his boots, of course. Roper at dummy half. Inari again. Coming in like a forward. Warren Stevens, centre field, trying to spin round and get the ball away. He can't do so. Nobody really running off him. Johnny Huff, Shelford, long pass from Shelford onto Vigana. Paris Saint-Germain have done the homework on this player, I'm sure. Tutupu. Half a break from Tutupu, taken well by Vigana. The ball clamped, however. That's the last tackle. Shelford, one up in the air, too far forward. Taken by Evans. Put down by Stevens, who gets a knee in the face for his trouble. Good break. Oh, the Paris Saint-Germain going to score again. It's still trying to put the ball around, but it's clamped this time. 10 points to 2 in the lead of the French side. Knock on, says the referee. The Warrington breathe a sigh of relief. Well, that was a good break, I think, from I think it was David O'Donnell, in fact. Centre field, side through the Warrington defence. Got the ball onto Michael Haig, who really didn't have the legs to get to the line. Well, the packs go down. Interesting discussion on GMR on the way home last Sunday from the game at St Helens about the scrums. Why don't we have scrums like they used to be, where the hooker has to hook the ball? At the moment, hooker really is a wasted position, I think, because very rarely do they see the ball. Why aren't scrums a contest? And if they're not, why have them anyway? That was John Huff to Jonathan Roper. It's Paul Hume. Good tackle on Paul Hume. The tackling for Paris Saint-Germain is fierce, as Australian tackling normally is. Warren Stevens. But no momentum from the Warrington forwards at all. That's Breers. That's under Vigana. It's very, very telegraphed, very stereotype play up to now. Kick by Sculthorpe towards the line. Dion Bird is there. And Dion Bird is running out. And he's tackled well. So, just midway between the halfway and the 22. Where's that one going? That was Bergman. Another good break from Paris Saint-Germain. They've got players over here, but it's a good tackle. But Paris Saint-Germain still got players over. And it's going to be a good try. Looks like O'Donnell. David O'Donnell scores for Paris Saint-Germain. Warrington 6 points, Paris Saint-Germain 14. One wonders what Darrell van der Velde is going to say to Warrington at half-time. The Wolves really out of sorts this afternoon. But it's 14 points to 6, and Warrington have not really come alive as yet. So about 3 minutes to go to the break. That was straight into touch, I think. That'll be a penalty to Warrington on the centre spot. They really would like a try now, just before half-time. They certainly need one. They've not looked like scoring one, really. Hinari's try was very much a solo effort. And Finau back on the field, Stevens off. Very difficult to keep track of these substitutions at the moment, with 4 substitutions now in the Super League. So, it's Lacy Finau again. And he makes about 3 or 4 yards forward. John Huff under George Mann. He really has looked the one most likely to, I think. And Johnny Huff, centre field. bang in the face. Gets up a bit gingerly. Onto Shelford. Breers put down, about 10 yards out. Paris Saint-Germain are tackling well. That's 4 gone. Warrington using the narrow side. Shelford getting the ball inside, intercepted by Paris Saint-Germain player, and Warrington lose the opportunity right on the try line. The Warrington need to keep Paris Saint-Germain down in the 22 for this 6. Hope they can get the ball from the kick, from the resultant kick on the 5th and last, and see whether they can score just before half time. There's only about 2 minutes to go. That's been a bit of injury time, I think, to add on. But Paris Saint-Germain spinning the ball around well, just get outside the 20. That's 4 gone. Ball clamped this time. That's the 5th and last. Aimless kick forward again, taken easily by Chris Wood. Loses the ball. What's the referee's decision? It's that the ball was hooked out because it was a 2-man tackle. Breers. Warrington have got a chance just before half time. They're 14 points to 6 down. George Mann, pick of the Warrington players, I think, this afternoon. Johnny Huff at dummy half. On to Fee now. Fee now beginning to brush players off. Rolls over in that tackle. Warrington again using the narrow side. Shelford does well, comes in at pace. Only 10 yards out. And who's it going to be? It's going to be Breers trying to get the ball away. He manages to do so. And it's going to be Tutupu. And he scores. Tutupu scores just before half time. So Lee Breers to attempt the conversion. Warrington could do with this to reduce the deficit to just 2 points at half time. Slots that over. You could hear that from the crowd, I think. So Warrington 12 points, Paris Saint-Germain 14, and Warrington have not really been in it. 3 tries to 2 to the French side, but Warrington are only 2 points adrift. So it may well be the second half will see a different performance after a talking to at half time. Warrington just look out of sorts. I never criticise the Warrington players for lack of effort. I do think they are putting in 100%, but they're just 1 or 2 have lost form unaccountably, missing tackles here, there and everywhere. The luck not really going with them. 1 or 2 knock-ons at interesting times in the game. Or should I say, promising ones for Warrington, promising situations, and that sometimes happens to any side. Good tackle this time from George Mann. That's the last. Oh, Richard Inari knocks one over the line. Have Paris Saint-Germain scored? I don't know. What's the referee's decision? Oh dear, what a chapter of accidents that was. It looked to me as if Richard Inari had in fact the referees awarded the try. Looked to me as if Inari touched the ball as the ball was going over the try line. Didn't want to get Warrington to kick from between the posts. Knocked the ball forward over the line, and Paris Saint-Germain have scored again. So what a chapter of accidents for Warrington this afternoon. It's 18 points to 12. Not certain who scored it, and I don't think the Tanner is going to tell us. So Warrington have conceded 4 tries against a side at the bottom of the table, and they've conceded another 2 points as well. So that was Jason Martin. Paris Saint-Germain 20, Warrington 12. Join us in about 10 minutes. That's the last tackle. Sculthorpe slips it inside this time to Chris Rudd. One up in the air. Over the full-back shoulder. Dion Bird doubles back. Good tackle on him. Just breaks the 20. Hagan again. The referee keeping Warrington well back. Tackling better this time. That was to Tupu. That ball lost. Taken well by Braze. He juggles with it but takes it safely in the end. Nigel Vagana. A bit of interference there, I think, at the play of the ball. Mark Foster, centre field. The Warrington making ground forward now. Good yardage there from Foster. Shelford on to Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe, good break this time. Trying to get the ball away and he can't do so. Good interpassing there between Shelford and Sculthorpe. Breers still getting the ball away. Back onto Shelford. Shelford this time onto Finau. Going towards the line. It's going to be Hume. He loses the ball. Just on the try line. Nothing really going right for Warrington this afternoon at all. That was some good interpassing from the Wolves. That'll give Warrington hope. That was a good passing movement there. And a very good tackle indeed from Hume. Helped by Sculthorpe. But there's a break on here again, centre field. Rudd misses him. Foster doesn't. So Paris Saint-Germain make a good 40 yards forward. And they're spinning the ball around now. Onto Martin. Onto Bird. Chamaran. Last tackle. Look deep inside Wolves territory. Surely a kick up in the air here. It's a grubber kick, in fact. Vagana gets over the try line. Comes out well. A little bit more life in this game. The start of the second half. Chris Rudd. But Warrington still 8 points down. Shelford. Long pass onto Tupu. Tackled well. Tupu plays the ball quickly. This time it's Sculthorpe. Good break from Sculthorpe there. Just manages to stay inside the field of play. So the Wolves are playing a little bit better to start the second half. Not a high tackle, says the referee. Breers, kick ahead by Breers, does well. Does very well indeed, does Breers. Roper's going to score for Warrington. The Wolves score the opening try in the second half. Warrington 16 points, Paris Saint-Germain 20. Breers did well. A good kick ahead from Breers. Little bit of soccer. The Paris fullback fell over. And there was Jonathan Roper. And Breers would love to slot this one over. Warrington will only then be 2 points adrift. And Breers for the kick. Slots it over. So Sculthorpe to get the game underway. Warrington 2 points adrift. Grubber kick. Chase has got to be good. Good tackling this time from Warrington. Well, the Wolves with the tails up at the moment. They really would be expected to win this game, of course. It would be a shock if Paris Saint-Germain won. But this Australian contingent from France are playing very well indeed. Is there another break on here? Ball not clamped. Onto Singh, centre field. Taken out by Tutupu and Mann. That's the last tackle. We're looking for Martin for a kick, I would think. Good one as well. One or two Paris Saint-Germain players offside. Taken well over his shoulder by Chris Rudd. So the Wolves back in possession. Mark Foster. Still inside the 22. Johnny Hough at dummy half. Solacey Finau. But not really getting up ahead of steam, the Warrington pack. And that's Tutupu. Breers the playmaker. That's a good break. That was Chris Rudd trying to slip the ball back. Can't do so. John Hough. Breers again. Long pass on to Shelford. Shelford sees a gap. Shelford gets the ball onto Vigana. And Vigana will go under the posts. Or should I say just to the left. So Warrington go into the lead by 22 points to 20. That was made again by Breers. A long pass onto Kelly Shelford. Kelly Shelford made the break. Vigana came on the inside. A good slip pass onto Vigana. And Vigana's 9th try, is it his 10th in 5 games? Just to the left of the post. Another 2 points to Warrington, that's Breers. Warrington 24 points, Warrington Wolves that is, 24 points, Paris Saint-Germain 20. 4 tries apiece now. Warrington's goal kicking has been the more polished of the two sides, and that's why they're in the lead by 4 points. Oh, good break coming in from Paris Saint-Germain this time. One inside. That's Chamiron. And Warrington saved the day. The cover defence equal to that. But still Paris Saint-Germain making far too many breaks. And the slide defence is not sliding. And they're going to score again. And we're not quite certain who scored that one. No, it's 24 points all now. Olnick has scored, Jamie Olnick for Paris Saint-Germain. Tackled well, still moving forward, Finau. Paul Hume, the Warrington captain. Onto Shelford, onto Sculthorpe. Only made real one break of any note this afternoon, Paul Sculthorpe. There's John Hough, he's making a break now. Does very well indeed. That's what Johnny Hough is noted for, really. Last tackle, Breers. Kick ahead by Breers. Bird still going, centre field. And a good tackle coming in there from Paul Derbyshire, who's on. Fresh pair of legs for the Wolves. Tony Priddle, tackle just on the centre spot. O'Donnell again. That's 3 gone, or is it 4? David Lomax. Last tackle. 5th and last shout's the referee. Kick ahead by Martin. Taken well. Again, a bit of soccer played there by Mark Foster. Onto Chris Rudd. Foster again. Jonathan Roper. The tackling is strong, coming in very quickly, as Australians always do. Sculthorpe. George Mann at dummy half this time, using the narrow side. Onto Finau. Coming more into this game now, Solacey Finau. Poor pass. Breers. Good break from Breers. Breers knocked over after the tackle. Nothing wrong with that, says the referee. But Breers is hurt. Good tackle on him. I think the Paris Saint-Germain player was committed. but Brays is hurt. Well, 24 points all. We've still got about 25 minutes to go in this game. Penalty to Warrington, not playing the ball properly. Have to stand up and play the ball properly. That's one of the new laws this year. Well, 4,576 the attendance today, and they've seen 9 tries. Unfortunately for the Wolves supporters, only 4 for the Wolves. George Mann, first man in, good drive. So Lacey Fee now. Johnny Huff again, trying to do things from the acting half-back position. So Lacey Fee now, onto Breers. Breers changes the line of attack onto Sculthorpe. They've done the homework on the Warrington loose forward. He's had a fairly quiet game, apart from one break that led to a try. John Huff again, nothing happening then. That's the last tackle. Drop goal from Breers. Warrington go into the lead by 25 points to 24. Now Sculthorpe again. Warrington in the lead by a point by dint of a drop goal from Lee Breers. Look, Paris still knocking holes in the Warrington defence. A penalty against the Wolves. Interference at the tackle at the play of the ball. And a good long kick. Right over the Brian Bevan stand. Much better tackling from Warrington there. That was on Paul Evans. Lomax, loose forward, had a good game. Slightly built loose forward, but he's played well. Sculthorpe in this time. That's 3 gone. Using the blind side. And Lee Breers really is in everything this afternoon. Good signing for Warrington. Long passing this time, another break. Is there going to be another try here? Yes, there will be, under the posts. Jamie Olnick again. Paris go into the lead by 28 points to 25. £30 points to Paris Saint-Germain, 25 to the Warrington Wolves. So 4 tries in the second half in the space of about 12, possibly 13 minutes. So Lacey Fee now goes off. Not quite certain who's come back on again. Warren Stevens, in fact. George Mann. Good run across the face of the post, plays the ball quickly. It's on to Foster. Pushed into touch. Scrum down. Paris Saint-Germain head and ball. On the second tackle as well. Not good to see. Warrington coaching staff won't be happy with that. Jason Martin for the feed. As the packs go down. Out on the Paris Saint-Germain side. No ground made this time. Dion Bird at dummy half. Onto Lomax. Good tackle by Roper and Stevens. That's 3 gone in this play. Paris Saint-Germain have had most of the ball in the past 10 minutes or so, and they're throwing the ball around well. Bird, good tackle from Sculthorpe. That saved the day. I thought there was another break on. But they're playing the ball so quickly at Paris Saint-Germain. It's really catching the Warrington defence napping. And still getting the ball away. That's the last. Another try here really would make it difficult for Warrington. That surely will go over the try line. And it does, over the dead ball line. So a tap for Warrington on the 22. And the Wolves fans are not happy with the team's performance this afternoon. And one can understand why. Hume. Warren Stevens. One man stuff at the moment from the Wolves. George Mann. Breers again onto Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe looks as if to pass inside. Doesn't do so. And you can almost see that Warrington are not happy with themselves. They want to play better. But it's just not happening at all for them. Nothing seems to be going right at the moment. There's John Huff. Long pass. Goes to ground. Hand over on the last tackle. A good passing movement really comes to naught. Using the blind side, but Paris Saint-Germain do play the ball much more quickly than Warrington seem to be doing. And they seem to vary the line of attack much better as well. And there's no doubt that Paris Saint-Germain deserve their lead. Particularly when they make breaks like that. And they're still going. Well, Martin loses that one. Stevens is there for Warrington to sweep up, get the ball back. Chris Rudd. Richard Inari. He wants to get some of the action. Breers again onto Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe sees a break, sees a gap, should I say, almost manages to break through it, but doesn't, to Tupu. Can't get the ball away. Onto John Huff again. Can't keep his footing. That's the last tackle. Warrington 5 points adrift. They need a try. Up in the air from Sculthorpe, straight into touch. That was the last tackle. That'll be the changeover, the turnover. One wonders if it's just one of those days for the Wolves. Definitely out of sorts. Centre field, though, they're making quite a few holes in the Warrington defence, but you saw then how quickly they played the ball. The defence hasn't got a chance to regroup. They have this time, because Martin hands on to George Mann. And on to Chris Rudd. Does well there, Rudd, still going forward. And people shouted at him to play the ball. Warren Stevens. Shadowed well. Warrington really do play the ball much more slowly. Derbyshire crossing. That'll be a penalty to Paris Saint-Germain. So on the third tackle, the Wolves lose the ball again. Another one over the Brian Bevan stand. You see the way the Paris Saint-Germain forwards are coming in much more quickly than the Wolves 6. And Warrington still missing tackles. And Paris moving inexorably forward. Much quicker hands, of course, than Warrington. That's the 4th tackle, and they're on the 22 already. Another try here really would be curtains for Warrington, one thinks. Penalty against Mark Foster. So nothing going right for the Wolves at all this afternoon. And Paris Saint-Germain have got 6 more. And the tackling not good enough, but Braze gets away. Does well. Interception from Braze in a promising position for the French side. Jonathan Roper. Warren Stevens slips it on well to Hume. Oh, Hume loses it. Paris Saint-Germain back in possession. Warrington still missing tackles. How are they going to score again? There's going to be a long pass on, I think. And really, has he scored? No, he's tackled just short. Has the try been awarded? Referee goes to the touch judge, and it has been. And it looks like Martin, I think, for me. Is it Martin? Martin, I think, has scored. Number 9. No, it was David O'Donnell, I think. So Paris Saint-Germain go further into the lead by 34 points to 25. 7 tries to 4 now. So they're really deserving of the lead. Paris Saint-Germain in the lead by 34 points to 25. And the way Warrington are playing at the moment, well, it doesn't look good for their chances to get 2 points from this game. And that's out on the full. John Huff onto Vagana. Scored a try, but still had a fairly quiet game this afternoon. Lee Breers onto Sculthorpe. Good break from Sculthorpe. Can't quite keep his footing. John Huff onto Breers. On this town of Derbyshire. The tackling still coming in strong and fierce. Johnny Huff, couple of good jinks, gets the ball away onto Breers. Breers spinning around, on again to Detupo, and it's going to be George Mann will score for Warrington to reduce the deficit to 5 points. Warrington 29 points, Paris Saint-Germain 34. So Warrington need this try, need the goal, need the conversion to reduce the deficit to just 3 points. And Warrington receiving some coaching, I think, centre field as Breers attempts the conversion. Slots it over. We think about 6-7 minutes to go. Warrington 31, Paris Saint-Germain 34. So this Warrington defence really does leak tries. It's the worst defence in the league up to now, and of course Warrington over the years have been renowned for the defence, but certainly not this season. Bit of a toe poke there from Paul Sculthorpe, and Warrington want this ball back quickly. 34-31 at the moment. Only about 6 minutes to go as the Warrington crowd attempt to get behind the Wolves. Warren Stevens back on. And Paris Saint-Germain have played well this afternoon. Getting the ball away centre field beautifully, making a lot more ground than the Warrington forwards have been doing. And they really want to get on with this. That's Priddle. Made about 40 yards there in 5. Is that going to go into touch? It's going to go into touch in goal, actually, so that'll be a tap for Warrington on the 20. And Lee Braze throws that ball back American football style. And Warrington really should get on with this game now. John Huff onto Tony Tutupu. So the Wolves have got 70-odd yards to go to score, and they certainly need to do that. Warren Stevens. Held again in an upright tackle. Tends to run across the field as Stevens, rather than run straight. Sculthorpe. But the tackling really has been a feature of this Paris Saint-Germain side's effort this afternoon. Derbyshire. That's 4 gone. On this time to the Warrington captain. 5th and last. Sculthorpe. One up in the air from Sculthorpe. Taken fairly easily there by Dion Bird. Warrington really looking for a mistake now, I suppose. The Paris Saint-Germain losing the ball inside their own 22. To the Warrington coach there, Daryl van der Velde. In the tunnel. It's by the dugouts. He really must wonder what's happening at his new club. Time ticking away. Warrington are 3 points adrift. Real surprise if Paris Saint-Germain win at Wilderspool. Last tackle. Surely a kick. And it's a good one too. Going towards the touchline. That'll go into touch. That'll be Warrington's head and ball from the scrum. Mark Foster screaming for the ball, saying, come on, pack down quickly. Paris Saint-Germain walking back very slowly indeed. The pack doesn't want to go down. They're waiting for a player to come on, in fact. And as the referee stopped the clock, may well have done. But of course it's in Paris Saint-Germain's interest to slow this game down now. Ball's got to go in again. Referee not happy with that. Richard Inari. How the crowd would love to see him go. Get in the clear. What a flyer he is. Paul Hume. The tackling really from Paris Saint-Germain has been really good this afternoon. Stevens releases Derbyshire, but Warrington not making too much ground. George Mann. Sculthorpe. Onto Tutupu. Oh, loses the ball again. Scrum down. Paris Saint-Germain head and ball. It's just not Warrington's day. You really can see that Warrington are not happy with the performance at all. They're just nothing they're trying's coming off. But Paris Saint-Germain have played well. Have tackled well, have attacked well with a vengeance. It'll be their second win in the Super League if they manage to get the 2 points from Wilderspool this afternoon. And the chances look good for them now. Bergman. Good break. Another break, this time from O'Donnell. Making ground at will. And gaps appearing all over the Warrington defence at the moment. Paris Saint-Germain spinning it along. Last tackle. What will Paris Saint-Germain do? A little kick ahead. Taken well by Braze. He's got to go down. Surely a penalty, yes, the referee quite right there. Good kick from Braze as well. Salesi Fee now comes on. Is this Warrington's last chance? The first drive coming from the skipper, Paul Hume. The Warrington forwards not back it far enough, I don't think. They can't come in at pace like that. George Mann's off. That's to Tupu. It's on to Hinari. Manages to keep hold of the ball, does well, does Hinari. Sprints back inside. Sculthorpe this time. Finau. No real momentum. Plays the ball quickly. John Huff, nobody with him. Eventually Sculthorpe. Centre field. Good break from Sculthorpe, but it's the last tackle. Paul Hume using the narrow side. Breers. One up in the air from Breers, who's put down after the ball's gone. Injury there to a Paris Saint-Germain player. Gets up slowly. Warrington really looking for a mistake now in the 22, I think. 34-31 down. Not too much time to go, a couple of minutes I would imagine at the most. Paris Saint-Germain making much more ground than Warrington. Warrington defence hardly having time to regroup because they're playing the ball so quickly. That's the last. Surely a deep kick from Martin. And it is. And it's taken well by Chris Rudd. As the Wolves fans urge him towards the try line. Urge him on. For Garner. On to Mark Foster. Running across the field. No Warrington forwards in evidence then. Richard Hinari will try and take him on his own. Loses the ball again. Hooked out, kicked away. In fact, by a Paris Saint-Germain player. That's going to be 10 minutes surely. Professional foul. Special infringement. And it's going to be Priddle goes off. 10 minutes, so it's 13 for the Wolves, 12 players on the park for Paris Saint-Germain. It's got to be a deep kick. In fact, it isn't. Taken on by Sculthorpe. Warrington have got a chance here. Sculthorpe still going. Good break from Sculthorpe. Held down in the tackle, but the referee sees nothing wrong with it. Richard Hinari going towards the post. Warrington have got a man over. Would they be expected to score here? Lee Breers back into Warren Stevens. So Warrington throwing everything at this Paris Saint-Germain line in the last 2 minutes. The Warrington hooker going forward. Has he scored? Has he scored? The referee's going to talk to the touch judge. And he has. Warrington go into the lead by 35 points to 34. And as we said a number of times, we said in fact a number of times that this Warrington hooker, John Huff, likes to go from the play of the ball. So Warrington go into the lead. 35 points to 34. With the goal kick to follow. So 6 tries against, we've seen 13 tries in fact this afternoon. Warrington in the lead by 35 points to 34. And what a game we've had. It's not been a particularly skillful game to watch, but Warrington are in the lead, 35 points to 34. It looks like John Fieldhouse down there with Paul Cullen. Is John Fieldhouse back at Warrington? I don't know. Looked like him to me. Lee Breers slots on the 2 points. Warrington 37, Paris Saint-Germain 34. Well, surely now deep into injury time. Warrington's defence has got to be good enough. Paris Saint-Germain have got to throw this ball about. But they're deep inside the 22. And the hooter goes. One has to say a pretty lacklustre performance from Warrington. Scored 6 tries nonetheless, but conceded 7. But is it a sign of a good side going through the doldrums if they play not particularly well on this Sewell win by 37 points to 34. Paris Saint-Germain certainly gave their all. They looked to me to be the better of the two sides on defence and attack. However, by dint of the goal kicking from Breers, Warrington have won this game here at Wilderspool by 37 points to 34. We hope you've enjoyed the video. We hope you always enjoy Micron videos anyway. So it's goodbye from Jim Kidd at Wilderspool Stadium with the final score: Warrington Wolves 37, Paris Saint-Germain 34.